Stan? It's still recording, Stan.
It's just filming everything in the corridor.
Recording, because I don't know how to stop it.
Oh no.
If you tell me you didn't press record, I'll go fucking
Not
nuts.
all of it, is it?
What do you mean?
It's not 44 minutes.
Oh, it might have been. He was on a good old natter, to be fair. And welcome to another In Conversation, a special edition of the award-winning In Conversation, because this is our 50th episode, and I'm honoured to be joined by our... What's your winner of the awards? You won quite a lot. You won coach. Did you win coach's player?
Yeah, Stan's coach's player of the season, and is it biggest loser?
Biggest loser. Basically, he won everything that he needed to win. Andrew Rowley. I'm going to call him Sir Andrew Rowley. I think he deserves the honour. Sir Andrew Rowley. Thank you for joining me here in the newly cooled down laundry room, as Billy likes to call it.
I've worn shorts and t-shirt because I've heard how hot it is in here, and then you tell me that they've
and I'm the
knocked
complete
the
opposite
heating
in
off.
tracksuit bottoms and a jumper. So, but I have been told that I've got to keep my clothes on. I'm devastated for a special episode as well.
It's my pleasure, though. I've watched quite a few of these, and it's always really good to hear about the other guys and people you might not speak to as much, or in passing and stuff. And you get to see this, and you hear a little bit more about their story and where they come from. So it's really good.
100%. Well, we're now going to talk about you. This is your MANvFAT life. This is what we're going to do. So we're going to go right back to the start on how you joined. How did you join MANvFAT? How did you hear about MANvFAT, and why did you join?
It had come up on my Facebook and social media and stuff quite a few times, but like previously, so before COVID and everything and anything of that, it was coming up, and I never really looked into it, but I looked and thought, oh, that looks really cool. You know, that looks like something. Love football, always loved football. It's been the one thing, like, through all my life, it's been my one constant, and I was like, that seems like a great idea. So you turn up, weight loss, play football, seems great. I just went through a little bit of a to do with my mental health more than anything. I had a bit of a thing where I just kept saying no to everything. So people would ask me to go out and do things and whatever, and I just got into a place where I was just saying no to everything.
Okay.
And it was just one day, when was it? October, November, I think, beginning of November maybe I joined, or end of October I signed up. And I just saw it, and I thought, no, I want to lose weight. I want to get back feeling better about myself. I love football. Like, go for it, go and do it. And I knew nobody here, so I was coming in totally new to it, totally no idea of anyone, didn't know anyone coming in. And I remember my first day on the Friday, I walked in, and I'd come quite early because I wasn't sure of like the thing of it, so I wanted to just make sure I understood everything, because that's how my brain works. I need to know. I need to make sure I knew all the rules properly of the games, and just how it would work each week and stuff like that. So I got here a bit early, and my first thing I remember was walking in, and Bradders and Grant were both sat on tables in the bar area. One of them, I think, was eating a KFC, and the other one was eating a Burger King. And I went, am I in the right place? And they both looked at me and went, MANvFAT, with like, I think Grant might have had like chicken in his mouth or something. I'm like, yeah? And I was like, I didn't think this was it was like the opposite of what I was expecting. But they were like, yeah, Stan will be here in a minute. I think then you were in the back room with Scan or whatever, setting up the weight, like getting the weight in the machine and stuff. I remember you saying, I wouldn't weigh you because Stan will want to say his bit and whatever. Then Stan came in, and it was just welcoming, though, from like minute one, even though like Bradders and Grant didn't know me or whatever, they were still talking to me. Obviously, first thing, You're fucking tall, you know, how tall you are. And
As they're eating the food.
Yeah, as they're eating their takeaways, like, yeah. But like straight away then I just thought, yeah, I'm gonna enjoy it here, because it was like, it was that thing of they'd weighed and then it was like, well, now we're gonna have something to treat ourselves and eat or whatever before we play, and it was that, like I said, that treat of we've weighed in, we've lost weight, so now we're gonna have like a quick takeaway of whatever it was, and then we're gonna go and play football for half hour, 28 minutes, whatever it works out as. But yeah, it was just, for me, it was a bit of a turning point for me, where it was like forcing myself to do new things, and I just went, get out and go and do it, and I've loved it.
So you went through a phase where you were saying no to pretty much everything. How hard was it to make the switch to want to do this then? Because you've seen it. Did you see it a few times and think, no, and just ignore it? What was that one thing that made you twig and go, let's have a look?
I'd seen the adverts, never clicked on any of the links or anything, and then it was me trying to change my own way of thinking.
Okay.
So I've done courses about my mental health and stuff like that, and low self-esteem and whatever else. So it was a big thing for me to like come into like a place with like 80 odd strangers that I don't know, and just come in and go, I'm at my heaviest I've ever been. I'm now going to go and like walk into a building with 80 odd different people coming and going,
eating KFCs and Burger Kings,
who are eating takeaways. They don't know me, but I'm going to like put myself out there and like force myself to do something different. Because the things I've done in the past, yes, things had worked for me in the past, but I did them on my own. And I thought, I need to make sure I don't lose the weight and then just undo it all again, because I just think I can't be bothered.
That's the key.
Because that's what happened. I lost weight before, and then it got to a point where I felt comfortable with myself. Oh, I'm okay now. I'd swapped jobs where I was then doing 24-hour shifts. So to prep food.
Is that legal?
Well, I was doing, you do 1 o'clock in the afternoon till 11, then you do sleep. So you'd sleep in till like 7 o'clock in the morning. You get paid for sleeping. And then you'd work then from 7 till 1. Okay. It sounds good, but it's working with, I love the job. It was working with young people, so it's supposed to be 8 to 16 years old, who are in residential care, and then helping them get ready for life after care and going in to live with in their own flats and stuff like that. And I absolutely love the job, but to prep your food for like your lunch for the one day, then your tea for that day, then you'd have your sleep, then you'd have to like have breakfast the next day, then possibly lunch before you left work or whatever. I just totally fell off the diet and the plan I had and everything else. So it just went totally out the window. With this then, I'd started a new job back in September. I always point out to people that it goes from a thing where people say, when people see me, they either go, oh, you're tall, when I've lost weight, or they use the phrase, oh, you're big, when I was at my head, when I was heavy and stuff like that. It was always you're big, so it wasn't you're tall.
Okay.
And that, in my mind, then I think
I used that term a couple of times earlier on, didn't I?
But people, to me, then I'm like, I noticed that more, because when I was younger, I was stick thin, tall anyway, and then be like, oh, you know, you're being tall and stuff like that, you're tall and whatever else. And I get that, and I noticed then the changes. I was putting on weight. It went from tall to big, and then I was like, right, okay. I can see, and then seeing what other people are seeing, and then it's not until you start losing the weight that then you go. People now go back. They're now going, oh, you're tall, and I'm like, okay, right, we're going in the right direction again, because now I'm tall again. I'm not big, I'm tall again. I'm like, I'm working the right way. And actually, just going very slightly off topic, very quickly, I went to get new tyres on my mother's car for her the other day. And I went in the garage and I parked the car. It was an absolutely atrocious way of parking because I ended up with like a pole next to the door. So I've opened the door and, feeling good about myself, managed to slide out of the car and thought, I couldn't have done that a couple of weeks ago because I would have needed to lose this much weight to get to this point. And as I was going to get back in the car to move it, because one of the guys said, "Oh, can you move the car again for us?" I sort of laughed, and there was a group of them standing, the mechanics, and I said, "It's gonna be a laugh for you now." I said, trying to watch me squeeze back in the car, and inappropriately, one of the guys sort of went, "Oh yeah," like this to me, and I went, "Oh right, okay," but without a blink or whatever, without a pause, I just sort of went, "Yeah, I lost 5 stone, mate." And you could see his thing all of a sudden went, "Oh, right, okay." And then he then didn't apologise for what he'd said, but then took more of an interest in actually speaking to me about, how have you done that? How did you do that? And my first thing, my MANvFAT. I said, it's really good football. It's the first thing anyone ever says. If anyone ever says, "Oh, how have you done it?" or "How have you lost weight? How have you done this?" and "How have you done that?" I can't sing the praises of MANvFAT enough. And that's not just from, not even from the footballing side. To me, the playing, as we know, for me, playing football would be fantastic. But right now, I don't get to. But the weight loss is my main goal. And that I've said that to my team, about my team, and with anyone who speaks to me, I go, the main goal of being here, the main thing that you were aiming for when you come here is to lose weight. If you win stuff on the pitch, great, fine, brilliant. If you've been good enough over the season, you've had enough consistent weeks where people are turning up and stuff, great. But to me, my main reason to come here is to lose weight.
100%.
And half hour of football every week isn't going to make a massive difference on a Friday to next Friday. If that's the only exercise you do, that's absolutely fine. But your diet between that Friday and the following Friday, that's your main thing, and that's what Stan helps you with, or your teammates can help you with, or other people who are losing weight can help you with. Because if you've got people who are consistently losing weight, speak to them, ask them how they're doing it. Some people might calorie count, some people might have, one of the lads on our team I think has the pre-ordered meals or whatever. I think they come to him, he just has those meals. Or they have I can't remember the name of the companies, but the ones who send you the ingredients and they go, right, this is your tea on Tuesday or whatever. But if that works for them, it might work for you. So have a little go and try it. But even though that guy, obviously he still saw me, because he doesn't know me, this guy at the garage, he's looking at me and thinking, oh, look how big he is and whatever. Then I'm like, yeah, but I don't see myself like that anymore.
No.
So as much as you're being very rude and disgusting to me.
Which area was this mechanic in, by the way? Which was this area?
Down in Pontypridd.
Okay, so Pontypridd. If this ever reaches out to Pontypridd, please send a copy of this to the guy that was the mechanic.
Yeah.
And a message from me on behalf of Andrew, because he's too nice to say it. You, sir, are a bellend. Absolute twat. And I'm not apologising for my language, but that guy is a twat. Let's not deflect away from anything. See what I did there? Yeah. See what I did? Yeah, I like that. So when you joined, you were put on Argentina's team. So you were part of the first ever World Cup winning team.
Yes.
And you'll love that. But you're now in charge of the new team as Breakfast Raptors. Breakfast Raptors. Okay. So you've been a part of two very good teams.
Yeah.
I'm going to put you on the spot. Out of those two teams, who's the best person you've been able to work alongside or with in each team? So one from Argentina and one from Breakfast Raptors.
I think for Argentina, just football ability, Eddie was class. Just able to pick up a ball, and to be fair, I'm going to say Eddie because he was the one who assisted my only goal so far.
Absolute gem of a goal, and
I still stand by. I would much rather score an absolute scuffer and be able to play right now than to have scored what has been claimed as, because Ben Gleeson, the man in charge of Swansea, he was playing in goal for us that day, and he also then came and played for the Breakfast Raptors for a short time before he transferred up to Merthyr. He actually called it the best amateur goal he'd ever seen. So I think I'm going to have it on a t-shirt or something. But again, I would much rather, I think, have just had an absolute scuffer and just watched it roll in.
We'll come back to that,
Yeah.
because we'll go on to that in a second.
Yeah.
So Eddie for Argentina,
Argentina.
Breakfast Raptors. And if anyone in your current team takes offence, then they need to get a grip.
It's
a bit like the mechanic up in Pontypridd.
we've got the group. It's a really good group of players, not just from the footballing side, but the support side as well. It's because with Argentina, I joined in like week 10 of that season, so I think it was 5 weeks left of that, then a couple of games in that cup. So, and to be fair, other than I think the first week I turned up, I don't think we had a sub the other weeks I turned up after that. I think like we had base 7 if we had 7 some of the weeks. Like I said, Ben Gleeson was playing in goals for us one day and he wasn't the player, so we borrowed him. But with the Breakfast Raptors, it's a really good group of players. Like Ross is really helpful. Mike,
Miko Simon-Dicko!
the rock star, he takes, not in a bad, but sometimes, you know, if I'm not quite feeling it, and I'm like, he'll step up and he'll go, right, you know, maybe someone has a message in the group for a couple of days or something, so he'll be like, right, come on lads, how are we doing on the scales, how's everyone doing and stuff like that. Ross will jump in and say something, or just be supportive to the rest of the group. So from that side of it, those two have been really helpful. On the pitch, Davis scores loads of goals for us. Yeah, to be fair, it was a great deflection pass too. It was a great finish.
Hammer would have seen it. I'm sure they'll fucking it down.
But I've got to be honest, Adam came like, Mike turned up one week and just went, oh, my neighbour's coming to have a game for us in like the friendly game that we had.
Oh, bring a friend night, bring a friend night, yes.
Oh, my next door neighbour or something, Adam's going to come. And I was like, oh, right, okay. Just think, you know, okay, great, you know. And then football, and he was on the pitch and playing, and I was like, okay, we'll have him. I think I came straight at the stand and was like, I'm pretty sure that, you know, he has to be a blue because he knows Mike. You know, like, he needs to play for us because and again, last season, I think he had top goal scorer, joint top goal scorer.
He was, yes.
I think our team also voted him our player of the season. So I don't think you can argue with Adam as he's a top bloke, top player, and he's here for all of it. So he's here for the weight loss. He's doing his weight loss. Everyone has a slip up. Everyone has a week or so, whatever way. Maybe your mind's not quite with it, or you're not feeling it, or you've got other things going on and you can't stick to it. But they don't let you down. Do you know what I mean? It's that thing of you go, don't worry about it. You know, you lost for like 15, 16 weeks in a row. I'm not going to say to you just because like 1 week you maintain or you put a little bit on or whatever. It's not going to be like, oh, how dare you? You know, it's like, enjoy it, go and play.
Well, talking of what you've just said there, there's weeks that you're feeling, you know, you're sort of feeling like, you know, you can't be bothered and things like that. I'm going to go straight into what we previously discussed, you know, deflect back to the best amateur goal anyone probably would have seen if they'd seen it.
Yeah.
But the bad side of that is that you've actually, and unfortunately, you've picked up the long-term injury from scoring that goal.
Yeah.
I know I know a lot. I know you yourself, but I know there's a lot of people out in amongst the ManvFAT community here are devastated by the fact that you're going through what you're going through.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about this because even though you have suffered this huge setback that doesn't allow you to play, you are still undoubtedly smash them scales every week, constantly.
Yeah.
Coach's player of the season last season, because what you're proving to a lot of people is being injured is not an excuse to give up. And it's a lot easy for people. I'm injured, I can't be, but I'm injured, so I'm going to be doing all this shit, and I put a lot of weight on, and it's an easy excuse. A lot of people have used it.
Yeah.
You may have done it on the few occasions, but where you are now, considering the injury and the lack of being able to play, because your exercise is sort of, hampered by what you can do or what you want to do.
Yeah.
Because of your injury. So, how are you balancing and still managing to enjoy the weight loss factor whilst being injured? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people that struggle. And I'm sure that I personally, one that I'm intrigued on how you have been so successful and kept the mentality of wanting to succeed whilst being injured.
I don't want to let my team down. Is a lot of it. A lot of the thing is, I'm injured. I can't do anything. I can't help on the pitch, but I can help off the pitch. So I can track. I can weigh in every week. I can lose weight. I can do all these things. I can hit milestones. I can hit my hat tricks if I lose 3 weeks in a row or 3 weeks and stuff like that. So a lot of it to me is that accountability. So I got that accountability because I'm still in the team. If I wasn't in the team, if I decided I don't want to do this anymore, I could see myself slipping right back to where I was. Because when I was looking actually the other day, and the day that I got injured was the day I hit my 5%. So I hit my 5% weight loss, and on the same night I got injured. And I was actually feeling really good, because I think it was the first time I felt comfortable completing a full 28 minutes without having a stint in goal or whatever. So I played outfield for a full 28, so I was thinking, I'm feeling better. I'm getting football fit, I can do this bit of moving about and stuff like that. I do it for myself because I can see not just the scales, but I take progress photos and stuff with myself as well, and just see the difference rather than some weeks I'll have a 0.2 of a loss or something. It's still a loss, great, I've stuck to the diet. Sometimes it can get really annoying when you've stuck to your plan or whatever, and you think you've done you've done loads of exercise and stuff like that, and you're thinking, I've done really well, but I've probably gained muscle that week. Do you know what I mean? I've gained muscle from doing the kettlebell workouts or whatever I'm doing. So I've lost fat, but I haven't lost weight because I've gained muscle, whereas I've lost fat. Okay. So the body change is important then. So on those weeks, those would be the weeks I definitely take a photo of myself, and then compared to where I started and go, it's still working. I'm still losing weight. I feel a lot better here than I did there, and that keeps me going. And keeps me motivated to do it. Just little things like just being, like I can walk up the stairs without being out of puff. Do you know what I mean? Just being able to walk up the stairs and not be sweating. And a conversation I think we had on Sunday with the 11-a-side game. I think I turned around to a couple of the lads and went, right, is anyone else really cold since they've started losing weight? Because I used to be really, really hot and sweaty all the time, and now I'm stood on the side of a football pitch thinking, I'm really cold. I had a big coat on, I'm still cold, and I'm thinking...
The big Arsene Wenger coat.
Yeah, I was like, this is great, because this is where I need to be. I want to be feeling cold and not always feeling hot, because I know now when summer comes, I could be in a boot, I could be in plaster, I might not even have the surgery or whatever yet, but at least I know I'm not going to be too hot during the summer because I've lost this weight. So I'm like, great, I'm going the right direction. I'm going to be hopefully feeling good and feeling better with it.
Do you find it tough at the moment, not being obviously being restricted to the exercise you can do? Do you find it tough to lose the weight at the moment?
A few people, I've come in a few times, and I don't weigh at home because my scales compared to yours seems to be totally different. It always tells me at home I'm like 2 or 3 kilograms heavier than I am when I come here and weigh. So I ignore that because I like the scale better. So I don't bother anymore. So I'm like, I don't want to be weighing and thinking I'm that much heavier at home. So I've done it in the past where I come in and I can't remember what team it was. I know Morlin was sat there or whatever, and I walked in and they were, and Stan or whoever was like, how do you think you've done? I was like, I don't know, I've got no idea. I don't think I've done very well this week. I stood on the scales and I think I lost 3 kilos or something silly, and I was just like, I have no idea how I've done that. Genuinely, I just haven't felt like I've done loads, and somehow I've lost that much weight. I don't know how I've done it. So it's like, oh, alright, yeah, that old chestnut. No, I'm like, genuinely have no idea how I've done it. I've got a plan. I try and stick to my diet and stuff. I've taken up calorie count, and I did have a meal plan, nutrition plan that I was sticking to. I sort of changed that up a little bit. Maybe for finance and costing, everything's gone up so much in price with regards to food and everything. Sometimes it's just easier to have.
Good job we don't eat petrol.
Yeah. But it's just easier sometimes to have like beans on toast rather than like sometimes my plan would say like chicken and salad and in a wrap or whatever. So rather than I'd have some beans on toast instead. So you know what I mean? It's still good for you. Still keeps me within a decent range and stuff with. Protein and fibre and all that stuff in my diet that I need, so I'm like, actually, just go for that and mix it up a little bit. It works out a bit cheaper because you can buy a tin of beans for a lot cheaper than you can buy a breast of chicken or whatever these days. So
everyone loves a breast though.
God, I am a breast man. Do have a good breast. Yeah, just I don't know. It's just. I try to make sure I don't have boring stuff as well. So like, I might keep it simple during the day, and then in the night I'll have something, I'll have spaghetti bolognese.
Do you have a treat day? A treat day, like? Or do you sort of just have a treat now and again through the week, or?
Yeah, well this week I think I had like a little bar of chocolate or whatever was bought for me for Easter, and it got to a point this week, and I just thought, have a treat, start it. It's not going to be. You don't
have a set sort of treat time through the week, like for example my treat day is Saturday?
Yeah. I'm less worried about calories on a Saturday. So I still won't go over the top, but yeah. I will like I might have an ice cream or something. Do you know what I mean? If we go down by the beach or something.
It's a treat day. You're telling me that your treat day.
I don't have a full day. I don't have a full day of it because I'd struggle.
So I'm asking you if you have a treat day, and all you've replied at the moment is I might have an ice cream or a chocolate bar.
Yeah, that's about it.
Jesus. Okay, what is? I've got 3 questions.
I'll tell you what. Actually, just quickly, I do sometimes when on a Saturday I'll have like in the kebab shop by me.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, they do a chicken sheesh, lamb sheesh,
like a mixed
doner kebab. And lamb kofta, and every now and again I'll have that, and I'll have myself some chips and a side salad and sauce and whatever. Chili sauce. Love a chili sauce. But that's what I like. That would be my treat proper if I was going to do
That's a better answer.
That's a better treat.
I'm sure we'll get some comments for that. Sure we'll get.
But
like a comment if you agree.
Yeah, that's a top. That's a top.
So I got 3 questions to finish off. 2 of them I'm going to put together. So first of all, what has been your highlight being here so far in ManvFAT? Second question is, where is your journey sort of taking you now? What's your goal for your journey going forward? And I'll go to the final question, which is the same question I ask everyone. But I want them to first. So what's been your biggest achievement so far on ManvFAT, and what is your long-term goal as it stands?
Well, hitting my 20%, that's a massive one for me. I'm not here for awards, but obviously getting awards is great. So like being top loser, because I've worked for that, is a massive one for me.
100%.
And then obviously with the awards as well, with the Stan's Player of the Season, if you haven't seen it, he announces how useless I was on the pitch because I haven't actually kicked the ball since the beginning of December, and how much of a waste of time been absolutely useless on the pitch, no use to anyone. And I still watch that and laugh because I just think it's just true. I mean, only recently now with the free borrow for injuries have I now actually come into my own that even though I can't actually play, because I come away, it helps.
We're talking about the coach of the year of ManvFAT made that comment. Okay. I'm not saying anything. I've just made.
I took them as
I
took it as love. I took it as
tough love.
Yeah, as
tough love.
I took it as a loving comment.
Going forward, what's your long-term goal?
My long-term goal, when I first started, I was very close. I think I was something like 26 stone 13, so very close to 27 stone.
But a lot of that would be to your height as well, Mike.
One of the things I've always said, and I think I said it quite early on, because a lot of people will say, "Oh, because of your height, you can carry it well and stuff." And I'm like, I get it, yes, I can. But when I look at where I was, and like, I think I had a BMI of 40 something, maybe. I don't think it was really, really bad. In my head, I was like, right, long-term goal. First thing I'm aiming at is like, I want to try and get to 20 stone. And I know to me, that's a very long-term goal. Then as I started playing, it was like, first week, I think I played 2 lots of 7, and then added 7 off, and then played 14. So I think I played 21 minutes altogether and couldn't do it. So then my next goal was, can I last 28 minutes? So can I set myself to start a game and finish it? Sadly, I made that, but I didn't actually finish the 28 minutes because I went off injured for the last couple. So I almost did 28 minutes, and I definitely feel that if I didn't get injured, I would have comfortably done the 28 minutes. So that was like little goals I've set myself. So my goal is still get to 20 stone.
How far are you off that?
I'm now down to something like, I think it's 21.5 stone.
Wow.
So it's 5.5 stone off. So I lost 35.7 kilos as of today.
Sir Andrew Rowley, see, I told you earned it.
And actually just thinking of it, going back to something you said earlier, when players or people get injured and decide that they're just going to eat and go off it and cancel their plan and whatever else and not come here. To me, my recovery is going to be quicker because I've lost 5.5 stone.
But people will think like that.
It's not going to get any better if I go back to 27 stone. My leg's not going to heal it quicker.
But it's an easy thing for people to do.
That's what I'm trying. That's one of the points I wanted to make, is that you're likely to. I've said it a couple of times to people. They go, "Oh, my knees are hurting" and stuff like that. We're a load of fat men trying to run around and play football. Things are going to hurt, especially if we haven't done it for years and years, and you're in a position where I was. Things are going to ache, things are going to hurt, things are going to pop, things are going to click, things are going to make all sorts of noises they probably never made before, and you're going to struggle. But you need to sort of ease yourself past that bit to get yourself to it. And then when you're losing the weight, if you pick up an injury, like I've done, I feel the worst thing I could do now would be to stop and go backwards. Because I think that the healing, and if I need surgery, it's going to help me that I brought my BMI down. It's going to help that I brought my weight down. I'm going to be less likely to have any bad effects from going under anaesthesia or anything like that. Losing weight will help with that. Likelihood is if you do need surgery and stuff like that, they will tell you need to lose weight anyway. So if you've picked up an injury and you're going to need surgery, you're better off to carry on losing weight, because one, it's going to be a lot less weight for me to carry when I'm trying to get this back to strength to be able to play again.
Yeah, okay.
So
fully understand, fully agree.
yeah, so the losing the weight bit is only going to help me with the injury in the long run. Don't get me wrong, it's not helped that I've walked around on it for 5 months and then you've just told me that it's fully ruptured. Sorry, fully ruptured Achilles. Happened in December. Don't get me wrong, I did wait a month before I went to speak to him, but that was because I just thought I'd, sprained something or whatever, so I kept moving it. I wasn't in half as much pain as I thought I should be for an Achilles injury. Went to see him, they put me in a booth for a week. Went back to see him and they told me everything was absolutely fine, don't worry about it, go to physio and build it up. And then a week Tuesday, I think it was, last Tuesday, I think they actually, a couple of weeks ago they put me forward for a scan because they thought something wasn't right. And a week Tuesday they told me that I had a full rupture of my Achilles with a 6 centimetre gap, which I've been walking around on it for 5 months. But it's because
you've been misinformed though.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
That's the main bit of the noise.
And that's I think that's what annoys anyone.
Yeah.
I mean, have you claimed?
Yeah, well, that's the next thing really. I'm still waiting to hear from the specialist to tell me when they can fit me in for a consultation, because they need to speak to me first and have a look at it. The guy who did the scan has sent all of those across with all the images and stuff. The most annoying and frustrating bit for me was when the guy who was doing the scan said to me, if they had sent him for a scan when we first did, they could have probably managed it with 10 weeks in a boot and you would be back playing football, running around, doing whatever you want by now. And that's the bit that annoyed me most, because it's been 5 months, which works out 20 weeks if you work it. So I'm like,
and it's just going to unfortunately just keep waiting and waiting.
Well, that's the thing. It's going to be surgery, and then it's going to be 12 weeks recovery, and then obviously after the recovery period, then it's going to be building it back up, and then being able to play. So yeah, it's waiting to find out when they can get me in, and then it'll be hopefully plain sailing back to playing again and enjoying and having fun having a kick about on a Friday.
Well, I'm sure I say this for everyone. I'm sure a lot of people will end up probably saying it in amongst the comments. But we can't wait to have you back playing on the pitch.
I can't wait. I'm going to be so much fitter.
It's devastating, but an absolute credit to you for still turning up every week and doing what you're doing. I think it's fantastic. It's credit to yourself, it's credit to your team, credit to this programme. So a massive well done on everything you've achieved so far. I'm going to end on the one question that I always ask everyone, and that's if somebody is thinking of joining MANvFAT, what does Andrew Rowley say to the person that's thinking about it?
Just go for it, do it, because that's pretty much what I thought and felt myself, was just go and do it, just have a go. Worst case scenario, you turn up, you don't enjoy it doesn't work for you, whatever, and you don't come back.
You can't say you haven't tried.
But I can guarantee you get in with your team. Before I'd even turned up for my first game, I felt part of my team, because I was added to the WhatsApp group, and straight away it's like, oh, good to have you on board. What position do you play? I haven't played before. How are you feeling and whatever about it? And you feel welcome straight away, and you feel like I'm part of a team already. And if you've played football before, I missed that, because I hadn't played for quite a while. I'd been coaching, I'd been doing all these other things, but I wasn't a player. And being in that environment again, I was like, yes, I need this. This is what I definitely want to do. And like I said, first week, you turn up, you get way in, everyone's really encouraging, welcoming, wants you to do well, not just your team, but every other team. They want to speak to you. They want to know how where you've come from, what you're doing, and
How tall you are?
Yeah, mainly how tall I am.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'7".
6'7".
Yeah,
That's quite small, actually.
Andrew tall.
I thought you were taller than that.
Is it? Oh, sorry.
Disappointing.
Yeah,
Disappointing. I'm not ending on that.
I'm 6'7".
I'm not ending on a
and you
disappointment.
can't
I'm going to chuck
teach
one more
that.
quick question in there. So we've got 80 plus guys in ManvFAT.
Yeah.
Not including anyone on your team, and not including the coach Stan. You had to pick somebody that you could go inside their brain for one day.
Oh God.
Anyone in the programme. Who's the one person's brain that you would love to go inside for one day and see what goes on inside that brain?
Oh bloody hell.
And just for the safety purposes, you're not allowed to say Spencer.
Oh. Oh, I don't know. There's some of the guys are worried you'd get lost and wouldn't be able to get back out if you ended up in their brain. God,
I'm going to push you for one
and
person.
then there's other people you think, oh, there'd be plenty of space in there because there's not a lot else in there.
I'm not going to ask you. I tell you what. I'm going to push you for. I want an answer. You've got to pick someone.
Whose brain? Wow. This might need editing. This might be like a 20 minutes later type thing.
It's just going to pop up on the screen now. What, 10 minutes?
Yeah.
10 minutes later.
Yeah.
Oh,
And still sitting there, I don't know.
One person.
One, just the one. Generally, I have no idea. Let's say Cronin,
Okay.
to find out why he is such a person he is.
We could always just ask him.
Yeah.
I
but-
thought you were going to say, why is he the second most sexiest man in ManvFAT?
Oh well, I've got to be fair. I threw my name forward for that,
Devastating. Corruption.
and for that to be picked, I just thought that Alex it wasn't on for a start. I don't know where you were getting that information, and I think that he must have paid you or something. Because there's no way he's number one.
I think on that note, Andrew, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate that. Good luck with the recovery when you have the surgery and everything going forward on ManvFAT. And I hope you continue being a massive success story. A massive success story going forward. And good luck with the new relationship too.
Oh, thank you very much. Yes,
Thank
it's
you.
going well. Thank you.